with Dan Marsden, he ex-director of Savills, and now he helps agents and businesses grow. I'm never afraid to express his own opinion. Dan, the flavour of the month seems to be self-employed estate agents. You don't think it will work? Talk to me.
I don't think it's going to work for the vast majority of people.
Okay.
I don't think it won't work for everybody, but I think some people will realise they're perhaps not as good as they think they are.
Okay, so the big names in the industry, obviously Keller Williams, we've got Perry Power, we've got Richard James in Swindon, we've got Benjamin Stevens running some good stuff, and some accommodation are doing it as well. They're due on the sofa in a few months' time. They're all talking a good talk. They're all very good at putting the videos out of someone joining them and doing an intro video. Why do you think some of them won't be there in 6 months' time?
I think it's like anything.
I'm not talking about the firms. I'm talking about the people that join them, the associates or brokers.
For me, it's like it's a bit like a shiny toy, and I think it's fun. I think let's start with something positive. I think the positive about it is, I think with the right training, the right infrastructure, the right systems, it gives those people the best chance of success.
Okay.
At some point, they're going to have to let go of their hand and let them run off and run their own businesses. Now, I know from experience that the vast majority, and this is maybe a slightly controversial thing to say, but I think it's based on a 20 years experience, the vast majority of agents are crap at business development. Okay, so going out and finding your own business.
Do you know why? Do you want me to tell you?
Do I know why? Well, yeah.
All right. You see, let's be frank. The people judge a good lister on their ability to convert on the sofa. You like that, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
And the people who make the best converters at listing are very people-orientated people. They get on very well with each and are very friendly, vivacious, outward-going, that sort of thing. That's what people want, because you're building a relationship on the sofa.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, the vendor tends to pick the one they like the most, don't they?
Yeah.
Generally,
yeah.
The problem is that have you noticed how those people who are great converters don't generate any of their business at their own free house?
I do. I have noticed that, having sold houses in the past, that the person that sits with you on the sofa that you kind of fall in love with a bit and you want to give them the business isn't the person generally you're dealing with when you hand over the instruction.
Well, that's sales progression, which I know we're going to talk about in a separate video.
Yeah.
But let's bring it. You've got to get on the bloody sofa in the first place, haven't you?
You have, and I think
unicorns. That's what they are.
Unicorns.
Bloody unicorns.
Yeah.
I can count on that hand the number of awesome listers who can generate their own business.
And I think I would totally agree with you, and that's what I think. I think we should be talking about the self-employed model in 12 months' time, when we know how many people have gone into it with their eyes open, half open, and how many people of that 100 are still self-employed in 12 months. Because I think unless you are very good at doing that, unless you have your own gravitational pull in your market, I think a lot of those people will be sold a shiny toy, and in 12 months' time, it might not be quite so shiny as they think. And I think actually taking responsibility for generating your own business is a very, very... And look, I do business development for a living, Chris, right? I know.
Well, we're going to be talking about that in another video in a bit.
And you know, if you're swimming around in the same tank as established names, and you say, yes, I am Dan Marsden, but I've got a badge behind me, right? Let's ignore who it is. But I'm an independent agent with the support of somebody else. That's fine. But you're always going to have the same problem, that if you're out there, you're not really pushing the badge behind you, you're pushing yourself. And that's tough.
Do you think an awful lot of self-employed agents, because again, you call it the PPI scandal, it isn't a PPI scandal, but I genuinely believe that there are going to be some valuers who worked for a corporate on a Friday and then start with self-employed agent A or B or C or X on a Monday.
Yeah.
And find out pretty quickly that it's not all grass, that they're not prepared to roll their sleeves up and do the bloody hard work.
Yeah.
And what will happen is that they'll then leave, give it all this on the social media, and it will actually, because I believe self-employed agency is the panacea,
Yeah.
because you're taking personal responsibility. To grow your own business, enjoy the business, and earn what you deserve. But you've got to go for your backside and do the bloody work, haven't you?
100%. Yeah, I think. Look, I'm not against the concept of self-employment. I think actually it's the way to go.
So, what would you say to the self-employed firms out there to make sure that these early adopters don't? How can we say? Mess things up for them.
Be realistic. I think you've got. I know. Accountability is a big thing. But you've got to make these decisions. When you've made those decisions on those people, I think there's probably a bit of a rush to get people onto that program, if you like, or to get them signed up. There's got to be an early rush. They want to see bums on seats. I think what will be interesting to me is in 6 months' time, what's happened to the first draft of people, if you like, what's happened in 12 months' time. But I think I've heard you say in the past, you think by 2025, whatever it is, 30% of it is going to be, and I don't necessarily disagree with that. What will happen is, I think you will have the cream of people can do the self-employment route. I think a senior neg who thinks, do you know what, I'm sick of just earning 10%, or I'm sick of this, I'm going to go and have a crack at that, might find where the grass is perhaps greener because they've been sold the dream. I think breaking away from that and not having that.
It's interesting. I've had a few Australian agents on this sofa, and they're all self-employed. And I'm going to make a sweeping statement here, but the quality of the person on that sofa. Okay, you could say, well, they're in Britain, they've come here, they're the cream of the cream.
Yeah.
Is significantly better than a standard British agent. But then, if the cream of the cream from Britain went over there, I think the point is that you're absolutely right. The market centres, the hubs, the bosses, they have to create a great environment. I'm a huge fan of Keller Williams. I am. But I don't get paid to say that. I just like what they do in terms of generating awareness that they're teaching them how to be business people.
Yeah.
But other models are out there: Remax, Perry Power, Richard James, Benjamin Stevens, and others are available. I think the point I'm trying to get across is that the self-employed agent has to take personal responsibility, be accountable. I mean, you can't be. Can you be accountable to someone in the hub if they're not your boss?
I don't know what particular rules they set when they sign up, but I think there is an accountability piece with these people. There will be accountability.
But they're not their direct boss, though.
They're not a direct boss. I mean, look, I think the great thing about someone like Keller Williams, and I've had discussions with a couple of guys there, and I think that the model works. I think the great thing about it is, and I'm talking about them particularly because I've had a limited experience talking to some of those people. I think it can only be a good thing to educate agents to run a business. Okay.
Because they classify themselves as a training firm who help estate agents sell houses.
It can't be a bad thing to offer them world-class training. How can that be a bad thing? It can't be a bad thing to show them how P&L works and how to get leads. And at the end of the day, models like that are all about leads. Leads feed the business. Without the leads, without the listings, there is no business. Okay. So if they show you how to do that,
okay. But then how to
them?
Yeah,
but Chris, let me just say, the big firms, and I have worked for the big firms, do that anyway.
Yes, go on.
So if let's take Savills for example.
Yes.
Okay? I'll take them. An obvious one for me. The training, the transparency of the finances, the transparency on KPIs, targets, goals, accountability, all of that is there. It doesn't need to be a self-employed model that teaches you those things. There is no reason why Mr. and Mrs. Miggins and co down the road cannot teach their team about leads, listings, accountability, the P&L. Why does it have to be a self-employed model thing, this whole education piece? It's not. There are some very, very capable people in agency in this country that just need to think about their priorities. And if their priority is just about steaming out the door and getting instructions, then they will find that very difficult. If actually they sit back and go, do you know what? They're doing that. Let's pay attention to what they're doing. Everyone's making a fuss about the education training piece. What can we do to support our team? People don't leave companies just over money. Actually, a lot of the time they leave it because they don't feel progression, they don't get the training, they don't get the investment. So why does it need to be a self-employed Keller Williams or whoever else to have the training piece?
Basically, you tell me it doesn't matter what the employment model is, it's whether people have awareness, accountability, transparency, they know what they're doing, they're being made worthwhile, that they're being motivated
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter whether you're employed, self-employed.
Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's a business at the end of the day, and people forget it's not an estate agent, it's a business. Okay, so in any business, if you don't train your people and nurture them and make them the best they can be and leverage then what they have and keep them, that's how you keep people loyal to your company. It's not just about financial reward and holidays, it's investment in making them better. And I think that's what Keller Williams are shouting about from the rooftops, and rightly so. Look, we train our people to this degree, and that's why we think they'll be better. Well, why does that need to be limited to a self-employed model? Why can't the estate agency industry look at that and go, do you know what? We're not going to let them steal some miles on us. We're going to do the same thing, and we're going to keep our people so we don't lose them to any other model or any other firm. That's it for me.